Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Stefanie Drysdale's weekly cyber recap number 23 for Friday, June 12th, 2020. Miss Stefanie, welcome back.
Thank you, Chuck. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you. And tell us what's going on. Lots to talk about today.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots to talk about. So we'll kind of move through it quickly. This week, Consciously Unbiased, it's a great organization. They're doing some webinars and some other content, a great group to follow, and lots of informative and thought-provoking topics to get us thinking about all the different ways that we can be more conscious and aware in the ways that we support one another. So definitely catch them. There was an article on cyber insurance this week. It highlighted the lack of current case law that we have available that can work both for and against insurers when it comes to better preparing your organization for the unpleasant likelihood that you're going to be in part of a breach. So definitely things to catch. A lot of it's very specific to the wording. So make sure that you're informing yourself and your legal team is aware of those subtle little nuances when it comes to that tech speak. So with more colleges and organizations facing cyber extortion threats, we're faced with some tough decisions on whether or not to pay the ransoms and then how to prevent the future attacks. So one simple reminder is to not hold on to information that's not needed any longer, as well as to make sure to encrypt anything that's really sensitive. It basically renders it useless to the criminals so that whatever they take from you is encrypted, and it makes no sense, and it's worthless on the dark forums unless they want to spend a lot of time and energy into decoding and decrypting it. So very important. Also a good reminder for IT leaders to make sure that they are staying involved in various networking and industry groups to share that knowledge with one another and to use one another as resources whenever possible. So an article this week about NASA, it reminded us that budget cuts definitely proportionally increase the likelihood that you're going to suffer more cyber attacks if people know about it. So once again, it's coming down to improper usage by humans, clicking things that we're not supposed to, the dreaded phishing. So definitely that can be the difference between secure and compromised, even for a big organization like NASA. Josh Lefkowitz at Flashpoint shared the NSA's updated telework and messaging assessment table. Highlights key features for each of those. It's a great reference for things like Zoom and Signal and other various communication and messaging platforms. So be sure that you're referencing that. CSL Online this week shared an article on pretexting, which is a form of social engineering where it's a slow and patient communication, either through emails, texts, phone calls. It intends to win your trust and ultimately gain access to sensitive data under a false pretext. It's kind of a grooming, if you will, but the main thing is to be aware and inform your teams about this tactic so that they know to be on the lookout for it. A lot of times we think that the criminal's just going to go straight for the goal. They don't always. Sometimes they're very methodical and very patient in obtaining this information over the course of time. So be mindful. Richard Starnes shared an article about the inner workings of a hacker for hire group. Be sure to catch that one. Really, really informative and enlightening. This month is both PTSD Awareness Month as well as Pride Month. It's a great opportunity for us to, learn and read about the resources that are out there to kind of help educate us on various elements of each and find ways that we can support those two very, very important causes. So be sure to keep an eye out for that. So just a few reminders, be sure to follow Chuck Andrews to catch his video series of interviewing security talent. There's so many great people looking for their next adventure and their next home. Be sure to catch that and see if there's anybody there that you want to connect with and reach out to. As always, be cautious when you read or share any information online, especially right now with COVID-19 and the protests. A lot of misinformation and disinformation spreading out there. I'm seeing a lot of people share things that have been already discredited and disputed on other sites. So just be be really, really careful that you're vetting your information before you pass it off as truth. And for those interested, the Cigar Society of Chicago is hosting another virtual online event this next week on Tuesday. The topic is going to be what social media and the public sphere. Should be really interesting. Always lots of witty banter around that. And for those that aren't in the Chicago area, it doesn't matter. So with it being virtual, everyone can come and listen in and join in, and it's a really good time. So hope to see all of you there. And that's all I have for you this week. I hope everyone is well. And